You know what makes my blood boil? When so-called wrestling fans completely miss the point of what they just witnessed. Monday Night Raw just gave us one of the most calculated, most personal, most justified acts of vengeance in recent WWE history, and I'm already seeing people online calling Centimeter Punk a coward. A coward, the man who spent months being hunted, targeted, and systematically dismantled by a mystery attacker finally gets his hands on his tormentor, and keyboard warriors who probably haven't thrown a punch in their entire lives are crying about how he handled it. Let me tell you something right now, if you think what Centimeter Punk did was crossing a line, then you fundamentally don't understand professional wrestling, you don't understand storytelling, and you definitely don't understand what it means to settle a score. This wasn't just an attack, this was a statement, this was justice, and if you can't see that, then maybe you should stick to watching something a little less intense, like competitive knitting. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me break down exactly what happened, why it happened, and why Centimeter Punk was absolutely, 100% justified in every single thing he did. For the past 3 months, Centimeter Punk's life has been a living nightmare. Every time he turned around, someone was there. In the parking lot, ambushed, backstage after a promo, blindsided, making his entrance, attacked from behind. The man couldn't catch a breath without looking over his shoulder. Week after week, we watched someone in a black hood systematically dismantle one of the toughest competitors in WWE history. They attacked him with chairs, they threw him into equipment cases, they even sent him crashing through the windshield of a car. And through it all, we never saw their face. We never knew who it was. All we knew was that someone had a vendetta against Centimeter Punk, and they were willing to go to extreme lengths to destroy him. The WWE Universe was going crazy trying to figure out who it was. Was it an old enemy? Was it someone from his AEW days settling a score? Was it a young up-and-comer trying to make a name for themselves? The speculation was endless. Social media was on fire every single week with theories, detective work, and frame-by-frame analysis of every attack. People were losing their minds, and honestly, that's exactly what great storytelling should do. It should consume you. It should make you think about it long after the show ends. Now, here's a question for you. Who did you think was under that hood before the reveal? Drop your answer in the comments, because I want to know if any of you actually called it. Centimeter Punk, to his credit, handled it like the professional he is. He didn't go crying to management. He didn't demand special protection. He kept showing up. He kept fighting. He kept doing exactly what he's always done, proving that he's the best in the world. But you could see it eating at him. You could see the frustration building. Every interview, every promo, every appearance, there was this edge to him. This barely contained rage that was just waiting to explode. And can you blame him? Imagine going to work every single day knowing that at any moment, someone might jump out and try to end your career. Imagine the psychological warfare of never knowing when the next attack would come, never knowing who was behind it, never being able to defend yourself because you can't see the enemy. That's what made this storyline so brilliant. It wasn't just physical violence. It was mental torture. It was a calculated campaign to break Centimeter Punk not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically. And whoever was behind it knew exactly what they were doing. Then came Monday Night Raw, the night everything changed. The night Centimeter Punk finally got his hands on his mystery attacker. And let me tell you, it was worth the wait. The show started normally enough. A couple of matches, some backstage segments, the usual Monday Night Raw flow. But there was this electricity in the air. You could feel it. The WWE Universe knew something was going to happen. They could sense it. And then, about halfway through the show, we got the announcement Centimeter Punk was in the building, and he had something to say. The crowd erupted when his music hit. The man walked out looking like he was ready for war. No smile. No acknowledgement of the crowd. Just pure, focused intensity. He got in the ring, grabbed the microphone, and started talking. And what he said sent chills down everyone's spine. For 3 months, I've been hunted. For 3 months, I've been attacked. For 3 months, I've been asking myself one question. Why? What did I do to deserve this? Who hates me enough to try and end my career before it even really got started here in WWE? He paused, looking around the arena. Well, tonight, I got my answer. Tonight, I found out who's been hiding under that hood. And tonight, I'm going to do something I should have done weeks ago. The tension was unbearable. The crowd was on the edge of their seats. And then Centimeter Punk dropped the bomb. I know you're here. I know you're watching. And I know exactly where you are. So why don't you come out here and face me like the man you pretend to be? Nothing happened for a moment. The silence was deafening. And then, the Titantron flickered to life, and we saw him, the mystery man, still in his hood, still in shadows, but standing in a very specific location, the parking garage. The same parking garage where he'd attacked Centimeter Punk multiple times before. "You want me, Punk? Come and get me." And Centimeter Punk didn't hesitate. He threw down the microphone and sprinted out of that ring like a man possessed. The cameraman scrambled to follow him, and what we witnessed next was absolutely chaotic in the best possible way. Centimeter Punk burst through those backstage doors running full speed. Crew members were jumping out of the way. Security tried to follow but couldn't keep up. The man was on a mission, and nothing was going to stop him. He navigated those corridors like he had them memorized, taking turns without slowing down, his focus unwavering. And all the while, the crowd in the arena was watching on the big screen, cheering him on like they were watching a chase scene from an action movie. When he hit the parking garage, that's when things got real. The mystery man was waiting for him, standing next to a black SUV. And as Centimeter Punk approached, the man reached up and pulled back his hood. The reveal sent shockwaves through the WWE universe. It was someone we'd all speculated about at some point, but seeing it confirmed was still stunning. The cameras caught Centimeter Punk's reaction perfectly. That split second of recognition, followed immediately by pure rage. He didn't slow down. He didn't stop to talk. He just charged. What followed was not a wrestling match. This wasn't about technical prowess or athletic ability. This was a fight. A real, genuine, no-holds-barred fight between two men with serious history and serious hatred for each other. Centimeter Punk threw the first punch, connecting square with the mystery man's jaw and sending him sprawling across the hood of the SUV. Before he could recover, Punk was on him, raining down punches with the kind of intensity we rarely see even in WWE's most violent matches. The mystery man tried to fight back, tried to create some distance, but Centimeter Punk was relentless. He grabbed his attacker by the jacket and threw him into another car, setting off the alarm. He picked up a nearby traffic cone and smashed it over his head. He grabbed a metal pipe from the ground and, for a moment, we all thought he was going to use it, but instead, he threw it aside and went back to using his fists. This wasn't about weapons. This was personal. This was about making his attacker feel every ounce of pain he'd endured over the past 3 months. Here's another question for the comments. Do you think Centimeter Punk went too far, or did he do exactly what needed to be done? Security finally caught up and tried to pull Centimeter Punk away, but he shrugged them off like they were children. It took 6 officials to finally create some separation, and even then, Centimeter Punk was fighting to get back to his target, screaming things that had to be bleeped out. The look in his eyes was frightening. This was a man who had finally snapped, who had finally reached his breaking point and decided that enough was enough. But here's where it gets interesting. As security held them apart, the mystery man started laughing. Despite the blood on his face, despite the obvious pain he was in, he was laughing. And he said something that made everything click into place. "You still don't get it, do you, Punk? This was never about hurting you. This was about exposing you, showing everyone that the best in the world is just an angry, violent man who can't control himself. And look at you now. Look at what you've become. I didn't destroy you, Punk. You destroyed yourself." That line hit different, because as much as we wanted to see Centimeter Punk get his revenge, as much as we celebrated watching him finally get his hands on his tormentor, there was this uncomfortable truth in what the mystery man said. Had this been his plan all along? To push Centimeter Punk so far that he'd lose control? To manipulate him into becoming the very thing he claimed he wasn't? Centimeter Punk's response was perfect. He stopped fighting against security, stood up straight, wiped the blood from his knuckles, and smiled. "You wanted to expose me? Fine. Consider me exposed. But here's what you didn't count on. I don't care. You wanted to make me angry. Congratulations. You wanted to make me violent? Mission accomplished. But all you really did was remind me of who I am. I'm Centimeter Punk. I'm the guy who doesn't back down. I'm the guy who doesn't forgive. And I'm the guy who always gets even. So enjoy this moment. Enjoy knowing you got inside my head, because now you're living in my world, and in my world, we settle things the old-fashioned way." The two men stared at each other across the parking garage, security still keeping them separated, and you could feel it. This wasn't over. This was just the beginning. What started as one man attacking another had evolved into something bigger, something more personal, something that would define both of their WWE careers. As Raw went to commercial, we saw replays of the attack from multiple angles. The viciousness of Centimeter Punk's assault, the calculated nature of every strike, and yes, the brutality of it all. Social media immediately exploded. People were arguing about whether Centimeter Punk was justified, whether he went too far, whether this crossed a line. And you know what? I'm tired of that conversation. I'm tired of people acting like there should be lines in professional wrestling when the entire foundation of this industry is built on conflict, violence, and settling scores. Centimeter Punk didn't cross a line. He erased it. He showed us what happens when you push someone too far, when you spend months making someone's life a living hell, when you target them, hunt them, and try to break them. Did he attack someone? Yes. Was it brutal? Absolutely. Was it justified? 100%. This is professional wrestling. This is what we tune in to see. We want real emotion. We want genuine conflict. We want stakes that matter. And what Centimeter Punk delivered was all of that and more. Think about it from his perspective. 3 months of ambush attacks. 3 months of being unable to defend himself because he didn't know who his attacker was. 3 months of psychological torture. And when he finally gets the chance to confront his tormentor face to face, you expect him to what? Challenge him to a match next week with a referee and rules? Shake his hand and say, "Good game"? Absolutely not. The only appropriate response was exactly what we got: immediate, overwhelming, unrelenting violence. Here's what makes Centimeter Punk's attack so compelling from a storytelling perspective: it's real. It feels authentic. We've all been in situations where we've been pushed to our limit, where we've had to deal with someone who won't leave us alone, who keeps coming at us, who seems determined to make our lives miserable. And we've all fantasized about what we'd do if we got our hands on that person. Centimeter Punk lived out that fantasy. He showed us what happens when you stop holding back, when you stop trying to be the bigger person, when you finally say enough is enough and do something about it. The wrestling business has always been at its best when it taps into these primal emotions. Stone Cold stunning his boss. The Rock laying the smackdown on anyone who disrespected him. John Cena overcoming odds that seemed insurmountable. Centimeter Punk attacking his mystery tormentor fits perfectly into that lineage. It's a moment that feels earned, that feels necessary, that feels right. Now let's talk about what this means going forward. Because the attack wasn't the end of the story. It was the beginning of a new chapter. We now know who the mystery man is. We know why he targeted Centimeter Punk. We know that his ultimate goal wasn't just to hurt Punk physically, but to expose him, to manipulate him, to force him into becoming something he might not want to be. And that's where things get really interesting. Because Centimeter Punk's response, his willingness to embrace that darkness, to own his violence and his anger, that changes everything. He's not trying to be a hero. He's not trying to be role model. He's trying to be exactly what he's always been, himself. Unfiltered, uncompromising, and unafraid of the consequences. The question now is, where does this rivalry go from here? Obviously, these two men are going to face each other in a match. That's inevitable. But what kind of match? A standard one-on-one? A no disqualification match? A steel cage? Hell in a cell? Whatever WWE decides, it needs to match the intensity of what we've already seen. It needs to feel like the culmination of this 3-month saga. It needs to deliver on the promise of this storyline. Quick question for you: what match stipulation do you want to see for Centimeter Punk versus his mystery attacker? Let me know in the comments. From a character development standpoint, this storyline has been phenomenal for Centimeter Punk. When he returned to WWE, there were questions about what kind of character he'd be. Would he be the anti-establishment rebel we remembered? Would he be a more mellowed veteran? Would he try to be a hero for a new generation? This storyline has answered all of those questions. Centimeter Punk is exactly who he's always been, a man who doesn't back down, who doesn't forget, and who will go to any length necessary to settle a score. That consistency, that authenticity, is what makes him such a compelling character. And for the mystery man, this has established him as a legitimate threat, not just physically, but psychologically. He got inside Centimeter Punk's head. He manipulated one of the smartest, most calculated performers in wrestling history into doing exactly what he wanted. That takes intelligence. That takes planning. That takes a level of understanding of human psychology that most wrestlers never develop. Whether he wins or loses their eventual match, he's already won in a lot of ways. He's already proven his point. Let's also talk about the production of this segment, because WWE absolutely knocked it out of the park. The way they shot the chase through the backstage area, the handheld cameras creating that sense of chaos and urgency, the quick cuts between Centimeter Punk's perspective and the mystery man waiting in the parking garage, the close-ups on Punk's face showing every emotion as he recognized his attacker. It was cinema. It was the kind of production quality that makes WWE the leader in sports entertainment. And the sound design? Brilliant. The echo of footsteps in the corridors, the car alarm, the grunts and impacts of the fight, the crowd noise bleeding in from the arena. All of it combined to create this immersive experience that made you feel like you were right there in the parking garage watching it happen live. The commentary team also deserves credit. They let the moment breathe. They didn't over-explain or fill every second with unnecessary analysis. They let the action speak for itself, only chiming in when necessary to add context or emphasize the significance of what we were watching. Sometimes the best commentary is knowing when to shut up and let the audience absorb what they are seeing. Now, I want to address the critics. The people saying Centimeter Punk went too far. The people saying this was too violent. The people saying WWE shouldn't condone this kind of behavior. To all of you, I say this, you're missing the point entirely. Professional wrestling has always been about larger-than-life characters in larger-than-life situations. It's about good versus evil, revenge, redemption, and justice. It's not supposed to reflect the boring, mundane reality of everyday life. It's supposed to be an escape from that. When you watch a movie and the hero finally gets revenge on the villain who's been tormenting them for the entire film, do you complain that they used too much force? Do you write essays about how they should have filed a police report instead? No. You cheer. You celebrate. You feel satisfied that justice was served. This is no different. Centimeter Punk is not a real person dealing with a real attacker. He's a character in a story, and his attack on the mystery man was the payoff for 3 months of storytelling. It was earned, it was deserved, and it was exactly what the audience needed to see. If you can't separate fiction from reality, if you can't understand that professional wrestling is a performance designed to evoke emotion and tell stories, then maybe you shouldn't be watching. The rest of us understand what we're watching, and we appreciate it for the art form it is. Let me also point out the hypocrisy of some of these critics. Where were you when The Undertaker was throwing mankind off the Hell in a Cell? Where were you when Stone Cold was attacking Mr. McMahon with a bedpan? Where were you during the Attitude Era when violence was happening every single week? You can't celebrate the history of wrestling and then complain when modern wrestling delivers the same kind of intense, physical storytelling. That's hypocritical, and it's exhausting. The truth is, Centimeter Punk's attack on the Mystery Man is exactly the kind of moment that makes wrestling great. It's unpredictable, it's intense, it's emotionally charged. It advances the story while simultaneously creating new questions and new possibilities. That's what good wrestling does. As we look ahead to what comes next, there are so many fascinating directions this story could go. Will the Mystery Man recruit allies to help him against Centimeter Punk? Will Centimeter Punk become so consumed by his desire for revenge that he starts making mistakes? Will WWE management get involved and try to punish both men? Will this rivalry expand to include other wrestlers who have their own reasons to target either man? The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes this so exciting. We're not watching a story where we know exactly how it will end. We're watching something that feels organic, that feels like it's evolving in real time, that could go anywhere. One thing is certain, this rivalry has given us one of the most memorable moments of the year. That image of Centimeter Punk standing over his fallen attacker, security trying to pull him away, blood on his knuckles and fire in his eyes, that's iconic. That's the kind of moment that will be shown in video packages for years to come. That's the kind of moment that defines careers. Before I wrap this up, one more question for the comments. What do you think Centimeter Punk's next move should be? Should he continue to hunt his attacker, or should he wait for the next confrontation to come to him? Look, at the end of the day, professional wrestling is about creating moments that matter. Moments that make you feel something. Moments that make you want to talk about what you just saw. Moments that stay with you long after the show ends. Centimeter Punk's attack on his mystery tormentor was all of those things and more. To everyone who's complaining, who's criticizing, who's acting like this was somehow inappropriate or crossing a line, you're entitled to your opinion. But you're wrong. This was exactly what this storyline needed. This was exactly what the WWE Universe wanted to see. And this was exactly the kind of television that reminds us why we love professional wrestling in the first place. Centimeter Punk didn't just attack someone on Monday Night Raw. He delivered justice. He gave us catharsis. He showed us what happens when you push someone past their breaking point. And he reminded us all that in wrestling, in storytelling, and in life, there are consequences for your actions. The Mystery Man spent 3 months making Centimeter Punk's life hell. On Monday night, he found out what hell really looks like. This is the beginning of something special. This rivalry is going to give us more incredible moments, more intense confrontations, and eventually, a match that will be talked about for years. And I, for one, cannot wait to see where it goes from here. So if you're one of those people who can't handle intense, emotional storytelling, if you can't appreciate what Punk delivered, then feel free to find another channel to watch. But for those of us who understand what professional wrestling is really about, Monday Night Raw gave us exactly what we needed: revenge, justice, and one of the most intense segments we've seen in recent memory. The mystery is solved, the attack has happened, and now, the real war begins. What are your thoughts? Drop them in the comments below, hit that like button if you're Team Punk, and don't forget to subscribe to Wrestling Zone 1 for more brutally honest wrestling analysis. Because unlike some channels, we're not afraid to tell you the truth, even when that truth makes some people uncomfortable. Punk took his revenge, and it was absolutely glorious.